Following the typical Google Pixel release pattern from the past few years, what we have here is the Google Pixel 6a, the light refresh of the 6 before its cooler, newer brothers hit shelves this coming October. Our bottom line for the 6a is that it's a slimmer, more compact phone that will make any existing owners of the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro blue with envy, at least until you mention the specs to them. On the overall design, the 6a is more similar to the 6 rather than the 6 Pro, with a matte finishing on the sides and its flat display. Buttons, speakers and microphone placements are also in the same positions. One key difference is that the camera visors are now much thinner and recessed as compared to the 6, although it still catches its fair share of dust. With a 6.1-inch Full HD Plus OLED panel that only goes up to 60Hz, it retains the same resolution as the Pixel 6, but the low refresh rate might be the deal breaker for most people. If you are coming from a higher refresh rate panel, this will be very noticeable in the first few hours of using the phone, but you'll get used to it. Accompanying the display is a set of stereo speakers that are okay for general content consumption, but in terms of quality, it's definitely not the best out there, with muddied frequencies which are very perceptible at higher volumes. Similar to its brothers, the 6a is equipped with the Google Tensor chipset along with 6 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage. Ideally, we would have preferred to have larger storage capacities, but since Google One is still a thing that Google is pushing for its users, let's leave it at that. On the other hand, as we were unable to download Geekbench and 3D Mark from the Play Store at the time of reviewing the 6a, here are the scores for our Pixel 6 for reference, as they share almost the same internals. In terms of gaming performance, lighter games such as Pokemon Unite will have no trouble running at the higher settings. On Diablo Immortals though, you can see 6a struggles quite a bit with frequent starters on 60 frames per second, persisting even with the resolution set to medium, which is the lowest. The stuttering can get quite annoying, so we recommend playing the game at 30 frames per second. Not the smoothest experience, but at least it's playable. Gaming on the phone also causes the 6a to run quite warm to the touch and drains its 4410 mAh battery much faster as well. Provided you don't spend the whole day playing Diablo at 60 frames per second, you'll definitely get more than a day worth of battery life with about 7 to 8 hours of screen on time with always on display, Bluetooth and location all on at the same time, which reflects quite well on the battery resource management on Pixel phones. Other than that, if we have anything to nitpick about regarding the battery, it will be its lack of wireless charging. With new Android builds usually launching along the flagship releases in October, there's not much to be mentioned here as the 6a is still loaded with Android 12. If you are interested in trying Android 13 at your own risk though, you can opt in for the beta program over at Google's website. Camera hardware is also one of the corners that were cut, most probably to lower the price point, with only a 12.2MP f1.7 main, a 12MP f2.2 ultra-wide, and an 8MP f2.0 front camera. Thankfully, the key ingredient that makes photos from Pixel phones look great is its software processing, so the lack of megapixels is hardly a limiting factor, with photos looking natural with the right amount of contrast. The glare issues caused by the camera visor glass in the previous Pixel 6 and 6 Pro also aren't present here for those concerned. The sensors also shoot videos at up to 4K at 60 frames per second, but video quality leaves much to be desired with noticeable noise and processing artifacts even in 4K under daylight. Not that it's unusable, you just have to set your expectations lower to budget standards. Lastly, for the worried viewers who might have heard of the fingerprint issues faced in the 6 and 6 Pro, rest assured that if you are looking to purchase the 6a, that the fingerprint scanner reads just fine. The Pixel 6a will be available for pre-orders on 21st of July for 749 Sing dollars and comes in 3 colors: chalk, charcoal and sage. In conclusion, this Pixel 6 Mini may be the Android device made for all you compact phone fans out there. Its lower asking price also accommodates the general phone users who worry less about specs, making the lower spec refresh rate, RAM and camera seem superficial in comparison to its older brothers last year. For the rest of you heavier users out there, the Pixel 7 is right on the horizon, so you might want to sit tight for that instead. Thanks for watching our review of the Google Pixel 6a. If you have any questions or comments, do leave them down below. And if you like what you see here, please subscribe and follow us so you don't miss out on our tech-related content. If you've already ordered your 6A and want a pair of earbuds to go along with it, stay tuned for our review of the new Pixel Buds Pro over at our channel Audiofied. Until then, see you in the next one.